I never knew I was a lover before I stole the things you had. Nothing fits in my footsteps at all, 'cause I offered you a ride.
My name's Jake. I've lived in Cleveland pretty much my whole life, in or around, at least that is. I started growing up in the eastern suburbs in like Mayfield, which is on the east side, right around like pretty much the extent of urban sprawl. I got into drugs in general, not just specifically opiates, but like drugs in general since an earlier age than most of my other friends. And within that, it prompted me to be kind of like the guy who people would go to for information about that kind of stuff. My father growing up was an addict as well, and I didn't know what that was like, you know what I mean? He wasn't there for most of my life, so it was like an interesting thing to me to explore the aspect of why wasn't he there, inequality to like, that's why is addiction. My first use of heroin was, I was 15 years old. My friend went to go to Oxycontin, and which we did occasionally. And so he went to go get Oxycontin. The dude threw him a bag of heroin, a $30 bag of heroin, I think it was. Then we each did a line snorting it. And that's the first time I ever did it. I was 15 years old. I was in my friend's apartment, and we each did $10 worth if you split it up, $30 three ways. So it was about a year and a half between where I had first done it and where I had first like done it. And that, it really does make a big difference.
I'm not from Barcelona, no, I'm not even from Madrid. I'm a native of the North Pole, and that can mess up any kid.
The first time I did IV was at my friend's, I think it was his birthday party actually, and we got like a 30 sack again of heroin, and we were considering doing it intravenous, and I did it, and I was the first one to do it in that group. And then after they figured out I was okay, we did it to other people, and I personally actually was the one who put the needle in them, because I knew what I was doing. And within that, the immediateness of it was just such a grasping factor that I didn't realize at the time. Once again, I thought it was just a experiment, you know what I mean? And at the time it really was. I honestly didn't know. It really does blindside you. That's what a lot of people don't realize about it. And I feel that's necessary for people to understand. I deceived myself would be a good way to describe it. I don't consider myself a dumb person when it comes to things like drugs, or when it comes to things like philosophy or use of drugs. Once a week, every 3 days at my worst, every 2 days at my worst, I'd still be doing it. And I would make excuses in my head. It would essentially be something that told me I know you're doing it, but you're okay. You know what I mean? You're all right. Everyone has their own weaknesses, and within that, you understand your weaknesses, which I did pretty well, but regardless, I still did it. You know what I mean? But then I had a girlfriend who I really loved, honestly. And within that, she told me to stop doing it, and not in a way that was injecting into my life. It wasn't in a way that was you need to stop or I'm not going to be with you, She was just I'd really enjoy it if you stopped doing this. And every time that I told her I'm done, I really believed it, honestly. Swear to God. Thought I was going to stop then. And it'd be 2 or 3 days between that point and the time that I'd do it again. And then I'd get really into it for another week or two. I felt as if I was a loser. Even though something, I had the full motivation and reason, and honest reason, the rest of my life reason to not do it anymore, and I still did it. So why? And you question yourself on that. It is honestly a very entrapping drug. It really is. I've done everything, I've said, and nothing has caught me like that besides IV usage of heroin. And I didn't know, you know what I mean, at the time of doing it. It's hard. It's really hard. It honestly takes over a specific aspect of your life. That warmness, that maternality, that actual clutching onto you and holding onto you, making you warm at night feeling is a hard thing to replace, even with a beautiful, loving girlfriend. That's saying a lot. It's something we look at with questions as opposed to accusations. But I had stolen from friends. I had done things that I truly regret to this day, to people that I love, that I never would have done otherwise. Don't do it. Seriously. Like, there's an aspect of curiosity that needs to be settled for some people. There's an aspect of comfort that needs to be settled for some people. But this is not the way. It's something that gets really close to your heart really quick. And within that, it's more than a drug.
But I don't want that at all. I don't want that at all. I don't want that at all.
It's not something to be turned away by society, because that just hurts them more. It makes them become the homeless reject. It makes them become the heroin addict because living in an abandoned house. We all have our ways to cope, and that's theirs. And regardless of what the situation is, just consider it, just question it. Ask yourself, why not me?
Where live you?